Hello, and welcome back to the Universe Podcast. I'm your host, Teagan Elliott, and today we have a very special guest, everyone, one of my two younger sisters, Annika.
Hi.
Hi, Annika. Welcome to the podcast.
It's exciting to be here.
Yay. Oh, thanks for coming all the way to England. We didn't get to record when I was at home in Seattle, obviously, and we intended to.
Mm-hmm.
But you saved up to be here.
Yeah, it was expensive, but mom and dad helped a little bit. I paid for the majority because my thought process is that I would be responsible for paying for the whole thing. But then mom agreed to chip in some money, and then dad also wound up like chipping money towards the total.
But awesome. Look at you go. So were you like, I mean, because you're a full-time student. As well. I mean, like you do Running Start, which for people who don't know what Running Start is, it's basically a program that we have in Washington State, and I know some other states in the U.S. do it as well, where basically while you're in high school, which grade-wise, this would be like sixth form, I believe, for British people. Basically, when you're like between the ages of 14 to 18, you're in high school in America. And when you turn 16, you have the option in Washington State to do something called Running Start, which is where you go to local classes at either a community college or a college near you. That's part of the program. And then you can get every class you take at the college gets you high school credits as well. So you graduate with 2 years of college credits and your high school diploma at the same time.
Yeah. So you can graduate with your associates, but it's just it's dual credit, and it's 11th and 12th grade.
Yeah. So you will be graduating this year. You're senior. How does it feel?
Oh, God. I feel like I've been asked that question a lot. Time flew. I was a freshman when COVID hit. And so then my sophomore year was entirely online. Like half my freshman year was online. Junior year, I switched to Running Start. So like I haven't been at the high school much. But
yeah, true. Because for me, I had my full 2 years at the high school.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I don't regret my decision to do Running Start.
Yeah.
I don't like my high school. So
yeah. Well, one of the staff members there was giving you a hard time about like being in the library to do work.
Yeah. No.
And it was like, you need to leave.
Yeah. Basically, this past year, they decided to crack down on Running Start students who are staying at the high school to like do work in the high school, whether that's the library or Running Start students can take some classes at the high school still. Like they can take classes at the high school and college at the same time. And that's what I was doing is I have AP Spanish at the high school and then my college courses. So I was at the high school all day because Teagan needed the car for work. And
I had to get that back to be here so I could go traveling.
Yeah.
Sorry, thanks.
So it's all good. But for the first few weeks, I was stuck at the high school all day. And I was basically told I had to leave like probably 2 to 3 times a day because they were like...
Which is so dumb because the thing is like you were sitting in the library on your computer.
I couldn't sit in the library. I had to sit
that then
right outside.
Well, then they kicked you out. But initially, you would just sit in the library. This is what I did when I did Running Start back in my day. Was you just sit there and you do work for your other classes and you wait for the school bus so you can get the bus home.
Yeah.
And so it's not like you weren't like causing a ruckus or anything. You just sat there doing work all day.
Yeah, we aren't distracting, but I think we set a bad example for kids who don't know what Running Start is. They'll see us in the library or like not in class at the high school, and they don't want us influencing those kids to skip.
Why should that be your problem?
It's not my problem.
So I'm like, you were sitting there doing work, and then it's also, I just think it's funny for many schools that also they especially try to like really put on this whole school spirit thing. And we have school pride, and we want everyone to feel included, and we want to create a community.
That was a huge thing when I signed up, is they were like, you're still part of our high school. Like, please come to the games, pay to support the arts programs. And like,
and it's stupid because then they basically just kicked you out, and they're like, we don't want to see you here. Like,
I'm allowed to show up for my one class, and then I'm asked to leave the premises if I don't have other classes. So for a while, realistically, no one from the district is going to hear this. And if they do, they won't be able to figure out the details. But for a while, there was a teacher who allowed me to sit in their classroom when I didn't have a class. Because, like, the dean of students doesn't walk around. He only works in the hallways. He doesn't check classrooms. So if I had to be at the school and I wanted to hide from him so he wouldn't yell at me to leave, I was allowed to like go into some of my old teachers' classrooms, and they just let me like chill in the back of the room because like I'm not being disruptive or anything.
Yeah. Well, and then but I think another part of it is, and we have to recognize the fact that it's school safety.
Yeah.
And I think that's not a problem in England when it comes to school shootings. And in America, that's a big deal. And schools have really cracked down on safety, trying to put in safety protocol measures to avoid school shootings and things like that. So someone loitering around campus all day,
Sitting in the library,
sitting in
doing
the library,
my work.
maybe you're plotting. I mean,
I totally could be. Just as likely as the kid in math class who's not paying attention.
Definitely. So I think it just comes to a point of like safety and things, but it does suck because obviously like you should be able to sit at your high school. Like I think it's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
However, you left a little early.
Yes,
you got
I did.
permission, so you could come here.
Yeah, I'm missing a week of AP Spanish for this, and apparently it's one hectic week. So
yeah, well, you're in the
feel
land
special, Teagan.
of the
I love you.
colonizers. How do you feel?
Oh, God.
How do you feel?
Oh my! I don't even know. When I first got here, I feel like it didn't even register that I was in England because I only decided that I was going to come near the end of October. So I think October 20th, I decided I wanted to do this on like the 17th. And then Mom was like, yeah, no, you haven't, like you saved money, you haven't spent it. How about we spent it on a ticket? And I was like, okay. And then it happened. So it's all been moving like fairly quickly. In my eyes, that's really freaking quickly.
Well, I know for me, I had started planning my own trip to go visit a friend in Paris. She's doing a study abroad there for a year.
Yeah.
And so I was making plans to go visit her, and then also like she and I were then going to go to Switzerland together for a bit, and then I was going to go stay with a friend in London for a bit. But then stuff kind of came up with then the trip was booked, and I was like, oh, like shoot, like you booked your trip. Now I have to book my dates around when you get here. Like, so that I was like, oh, okay, shoot. So I like quickly rework plans, but like the fact that you actually are here and you came, and it was so cute when you landed and you said it's just like Love Actually, I think is what the message said.
Yeah, it really was. I landed in Heathrow, and there was so much, like I was so I don't know. I'm stuck on whether or not I should be swearing because I know like Mom and Dad are gonna listen, and I don't feel like either of them are gonna really care. But
what I do is I say what I want because this is my podcast.
Okay.
You're a guest on your sister's podcast.
Point is, I basically got off and I was so confused because at some point I was just following like the crowd. I was like, I feel like most of the people on the plane were American. Like, I'll just follow them. And I was like, that's what I did to get through the rest of the airport, and it all wound up working out. But with all the strikes and stuff, the strikes and weather, I think, kept you.
Gosh.
But basically, before we
I'll get into that after you finish. Yes.
I was going to say, I exited like through the doors or whatever, and it was just lined with people on either side, kind of like the beginning of Love Actually, who all had their signs out that was like, oh yeah, like Marissa Myers, like over here kind of thing. And you had like families with flowers and cards and like little kids who are super excitedly trying to climb over the thing. Everyone looked so happy too, and that was so like that's kind of a rarity.
Yeah,
I don't know, it felt so surreal because it did feel like I was walking. I could hear like the beginning of the movie playing in my head.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like seeing your excitement, it brought back my excitement of like little things that when I first came here that I was excited about. I mean, okay, because like for me, after my trip in Paris and I stayed in London for a couple days, I had to get up really early that morning because your flight landed at an ungodly hour.
Yeah, for you. For me, I was so tired.
Well, yeah, you'd been up for ages prior, also with school and stuff, but then...
Yeah, it was my finals week leading up to the trip, so I didn't pack until, like, after midnight on the day.
Which is a you problem.
I know, it is.
But then, so I got up really early, and I got to King's Cross from the tube from my friend's place in London, and the whole thing, it was a mess. And then I got on the tube on the Piccadilly line, and they're like, oh, you have to get off at Hatton Cross because we're actually not, we're terminating the Heathrow stop. We changed our minds, and I had to get off and wait for another one. And they took ages to even get there. Like, tubes were delayed by like 30 minutes and things. So yeah, I was late getting you, and I felt really bad. But I should have gotten there like when you landed, and I still would have been early. Like, and that wasn't even then giving you, like, I was still gonna wait around for you while you got through passport control and getting your luggage and everything. But no, I was so late and I felt really bad. But I tried very hard.
You did not have to feel bad. I was kind of just sitting there and soaking in that sound of all the accents.
I thought it was so cute when I came in and you had a juice and it was from M&S. You're like, oh, I got it from this place over here called M&S. And I was like, oh my God, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I really don't know much about England. I know as much as I see on YouTube.
Okay, wait, quick comment about M&S. So I've only ever heard it been called M&S or Marks and Spencer's or Marks and Spencer, whatever it is. But I had a friend call it Marks and Sparks recently, and I have never heard that.
I don't know why you're telling this to me because I cannot.
Well, no, but people listening that are British, is this a real thing? Please let me know. I'd love to know.
Mickey D's versus.
Yeah. If you listen to the last episode with Will, yeah, Mickey D's versus McDonald's versus Mackey's.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Marks and Sparks.
Marks and Sparks
was a new one for me. I was like, what the heck?
I kind of like that one.
I've lived here for
more.
like a year and a bit, and I've never heard that. It sounds cute, kind of cute though.
Yeah, I like it more, I think.
But so how has it been weather-wise for you?
Okay, it's a different kind of cold because I live in Washington primarily, and it's cold, but it's not like biting cold. Like, I don't step out of the car and feel like I need to like pull my scarf up over my face. I don't wear a scarf. So then coming here, and it feels like it's not that much colder. I packed layers, thank God.
Well, I remember I texted you and I was like, bring layers. It is freezing. Because I think the cold hit like a week before you came. Mm-hmm. It was when I was in Paris and like the cold just hit. And I was like, thank goodness I brought a scarf and actual layers with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like you told me to bring layers and I was like, she's probably overreacting. Like she was in like, I don't know. I feel like you're just used to warmer weather to an extent.
Me?
Sort of.
Like, I'm further north than you.
Yeah, but I feel like you had been traveling beforehand, and I was like, maybe because she doesn't have her full closet, she's not wearing like what she should be, and so she feels colder because she didn't pack as like warmly.
It snowed in the south. It snowed like a couple days ago in London. So all my friends from London were posting like them throwing snowballs, just being in the snow, making snowmen. It was really entertaining. Because in Seattle, it had snowed for you, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, around and about.
And a lot of people, did you make snowmen and stuff? I feel like we get snow so much, I feel like every winter at this point, that it's not as exciting, other than the fact that school gets canceled. But now, school can be on Zoom.
School got canceled for one day. It was bad. Like, driving wasn't fun, and I had to drive for Mom's, right? And because Kaya had to go to school.
Kaya's our sister for reference. She's our younger sister. Shout out Kaya.
Yeah, and so even with running start, like the classes at the college were canceled, but Kaya's school wasn't canceled, and neither was my AP Spanish class, and so we had to go anyways. And I didn't like driving on the roads because my tires like weren't.
Do we want to rehash Christmas Eve?
No, I don't. I really don't.
Last Christmas Eve.
All right, can we keep this? Please keep this brief.
We'll keep it short and sweet. Basically,
I'm the only sister who's ever crashed the car.
I got a phone call from a sister.
This is not short. This is not short at all.
She was fearful for her life because the other sibling was in tears. She had crashed the motor vehicle.
Okay, so I crashed the minivan on December 24th last year.
Christmas Eve. I'm at home, like with the fireplace, my cat, my hot chocolate, like living my best like Hallmark Christmas Eve vibe.
Shut the.
And I get a phone call that my sister has almost perished.
Okay, don't be so dramatic. The airbags did not go off.
It wasn't even bad.
It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. Like nobody got hurt. The other people were fine. They weren't even mad because they were driving a rental car. So like,
yeah. I mean, to be fair, I joked about it pretty soon after.
No, like
really funny.
No, when she says pretty soon, she doesn't mean like on Christmas Day. Like, oh damn, like a day later. Like she means within the hour. She was like, "Hey, you crashed the car,"
or like someone
still crying in my room.
Or time I go, oh no, I burned the onions. I go, well, at least you didn't crash the car. Like, I just, to me, I'm like, I don't know, quick humor after a trauma just alleviates
No, and it's specifically with
go
me.
through the trauma, so.
Teagan, your sense of humor with me is atrocious. Like, Oh, it's around me that you make all your worst, like, that's what she said jokes.
I don't. What dad joke did I make earlier to you?
Oh,
It was
Jesus
such a
Christ.
dad joke. It was
It
so
was
bad.
so good.
What was
Oh,
it?
it was something about, like, the shirt.
Oh, yeah, we were in Urban Outfitters, and there was this top. It was like a knitted thing, and it literally covered like half the mannequin's boobs. I was like,
No, it would, like, maybe... it would maybe cover half a nipple. Like,
yeah.
it was really bad.
It was really. I've seen some cropped things, but this was like a new level. And
Oh, it was so good.
And I pointed out to her, and I go, "Oh, do you have to buy the second half?" And I felt like a grandma and a dad all in one.
Teagan was just loudly like, do
I mean,
you have to buy the other half?
okay, well,
I was just like, I put my head down. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Still purchase things in general.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
116 pounds worth of things.
Yeah, look at you go, little miss girl. I mean,
Mm.
I got a top. It was on sale, and I loved it. And I was like, it was made for me.
I got-
Fit me like a glove.
I got 3 things, but Urban is expensive, and I'm
Okay,
probably going to return
but-
2 of them.
But here's the thing: is like you also don't really like to shop much, especially
Yeah.
back home. Like, so for you, the fact that you saw things, you were in Urban, and you were like, "Oh
No.
my god, that's so cute." I was like, "Okay, you have to shop."
The problem is I would go back and spend so much more money, but you had to go to the bathroom, so we had to leave.
I did. That
I was
was
like,
funny.
I low-key did too. I was just like willing to suck it up because I wanted to keep looking at t-shirts
before
and stuff.
you fully commit to going York shopping, I will take you to Leeds because Leeds has a lot of good stuff.
No,
I
you
like
keep saying
things.
that.
I know. Well,
if
yeah.
I find nothing, I'm gonna be so disheartened.
If I ever get, if we ever could manage to get a train there,
oh yeah, with
we'll
all
definitely
those
give it a
strikes and
whirl.
stuff.
Yeah. But, oh my gosh, should we tell the people about our stress for Christmas Eve?
You can, I would say, sum it up in like a minute and a half, maybe.
Okay.
I feel like people don't want to listen to
let me
like
flex
7 minutes.
my story summary muscles. Basically, for everyone that already knew, we were going to be getting a train down on Christmas Eve, and we were going to be getting her to Heathrow Airport on the 27th for her flight because there are no trains on Christmas Day and Boxing Day.
Yes.
So we were going to go on the 27th. We were going to get the tube to Heathrow Airport, and then I was going to go on a train back to York.
We have
Great.
a hotel booked in London.
We already have this all booked.
25th, 26th,
Now,
maybe 24th.
I was alerted at Bottomless Brunch that, in fact, the trains are canceled on the 24th and the 27th, and there are strikes for the tube as well. So that means we're going to have to get a bus from York on the 27th. No, on the 24th, because the buses aren't on strike, so we're going to get a bus on the 24th. We're going to get a bus down to London, and it's going to be like a 6.5 hour ride, and I'm literally already crying about it. I'm going to bring a book, and then that means after I get you to Heathrow, which I don't know how we're going to do, maybe a bus or a taxi. We'll figure it out. That means I'm going to then be stuck in London, and I need to figure out a plan. Maybe I'll get a bus and go visit a friend.
Yeah. Thank you, Will, for letting us know. And also rest in peace, people who are listening to this at 2 times speed.
That, or
That's all I was thinking the whole
rest in
time.
peace people that are now realizing that if they also had anything booked for the 24th or 27th, that now maybe they also are now very much aware that there
Yeah.
are no trains running
But with all the,
or tubes.
I don't know, there's just a lot of commotion around like buses and trains and stuff. So it's going to be harder to
I
get
don't
to
know
the
the
airport than we
reason for the
anticipated.
striking, but I know that it is like a big issue. And if people are striking, I'm sure there's a good reason for it. Like, I don't think people are doing it for no reason. So I'm not going to like comment on it because I don't really know anything about the situation.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just kind of annoying for us. But we'll make it work.
Yeah, it'll be fine. As long as I get to the airport.
Yeah. And then, am I just going to be stranded in the cold, Annika? You don't care
You have
what happens to me?
friends. You have friends. I've met some of your friends. I met Will, who was on the previous episode.
Yeah.
I loved Will. I'm going to be honest.
God. Aw.
No, he was super cool. And I listened to the last podcast episode with you on the tube to here.
The train.
After the
Yeah.
train, whatever. You keep changing.
I know.
You keep
Well, no.
changing what you call it, and
Well, no,
it's stressing
because
me
so
out.
the tube is like the subway.
Okay.
And then this also threw me really. So I finally got used to calling it the tube, and then when I was in Paris, I had to call it the metro. I was like, first world problems. Oh my god! But also like I kept calling it the wrong thing, and then I called it the subway.
oh my god.
So there are 3 different names for it now. So just call it whatever your heart tells you.
Okay. Well, we were on the train. We'd gotten off the tube. My memory's coming back.
Yeah. No, you were exhausted. You fell asleep at 5 o'clock when we got home.
I think around then.
Yeah, and then I went to go watch the England game at the pub, which did not end well.
I was not up for that. I was passed out.
Well, then we were also having rowing prees at our house. I'm surprised you didn't wake up from that.
I woke up once, but it was for a total of maybe 30 seconds, so it really wasn't bad.
Yeah, you were knocked
exhausted.
out. You were knocked.
Well, on like the 9.5-hour flight or something like that. I don't remember the exact time.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even sleep. I just went into that state where your mind is like asleep.
Yeah.
Your mind is kind of just numb and you're staring at the seat ahead of you.
I feel like now you're in a pretty
like 2 hours.
You're in a pretty good sleep schedule.
I mean, but what time is it?
What do you think of the British accents?
Midnight. I mean, they're good. I feel like.
Can you tell the difference between a northern and a southern one?
I can identify a northern accent. I can't identify any other kind of like British accent.
I mean, to be fair, most people in my house are northern, yeah. And then there's me, American.
I feel like northern accents
and then two are from
very
like,
different.
the south, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, no, they are, and there is definitely a difference, and they also say different things.
I'm sure if I had people
different
like
sayings, different slang.
If I had people in a lineup, I could probably
you
figure out the difference.
I want to hear you say this, and then you say this, and then you say this.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I'm basing this off of like voices I hear on the bus, voices I hear just walking around, like online personas, you know?
Yeah. Well, so I'm curious, just as like us, doing a uni podcast here. So I just did want to briefly talk about like the SAT as an American test thing.
Okay.
You don't need to look I'm not looking for score or anything like that.
No, I'll share my score. That's fine.
No. I'm just like, that's not my question. My question is more along the lines of like applying to unis. How many American unis tend to be looking for SAT scores now, like in a post-COVID world? I'm just curious.
Honestly, most of them say they don't require it, but that doesn't mean they don't want it. And that doesn't mean that there's people with good SAT scores aren't going to be prioritized. But I feel like that's pretty, like, it's not that difficult to come to that conclusion.
Well, do you think, I know that you're taking a gap year next year.
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless I can suddenly figure out exactly like what I want to do, where I want to go. Yeah. And like figure that out like,
I will say,
before
I think
college apps close.
That's something about the British school system that does stress me out is from a younger age, they have to figure out what they want to do. So when they turn 16, they basically can either go to college or sixth form for what they want to do. And like it narrows it down. They go from taking like the way we do like 6 classes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
To like, I think it's like 3. And they kind of narrow down
but
what
they're
they
more
want.
like
I think that's what it is.
classes.
No one can quote me on it. No, yeah. So like, and it's a lot more specialized. So you already and are trying to figure out what you want to be studying and what you want to be doing.
Yeah.
If you choose to go to uni or in the workforce. And I'm like, that's at 16. At least for us, it's like 18.
Yes. And I will say, I know American universities, like you can change your mind halfway through. It's not going to be an issue. And
yeah, well, because your first 2 years at American uni are taking core classes.
Yeah. Like
general education classes. So you're still taking, like, even if you're getting a degree like me in film and television, my first 2 years at an American uni would still be maths, science, history,
English,
art, English, all of it.
Yeah.
Even though I'm like, and I'm paying university tuition to still be doing film and TV. And that's not even what I'm taking in my first 2 years.
Yeah.
Which is stupid to me. So that's why I'm happy I'm here.
It definitely is
But
ridiculous.
I will say, it's good, though, for people that don't know what they want to do, like someone in your position. If you still didn't know what you wanted to do, but you had some like interests and ideas, maybe having 2 years at uni to figure it out and still taking a variety of things, I feel like could still be helpful.
Okay, maybe the first year is more generalized. Second year, you can just take like a bunch of classes to maybe help you figure out what the hell you want to do.
Well, no, that also just reminded me to quickly touch on the idea of university in America. You create your own schedule, and you get a semblance of that with your college because you get to create your own schedule. So my question to you is like, do you like making your own schedule? Because here you're given a schedule and that's what you do, period.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you like making your own schedule or?
I'd say yes and no. Specifically being a running start student, it's helpful because this next quarter, I signed up for all asynchronous online classes just because last quarter, I don't want to call it a mistake, but I made the mistake of signing up for a civics class at my college. Sorry.
in person.
It was Mondays and Wednesdays for like 50 minutes. I would drive 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back.
Okay, but that kind of
twice a
blows my
week.
mind just because, like, to me, I value the in-person education so much more than the online. But you're like the opposite of me.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's
I feel
interesting
like
getting the other perspective.
my brain isn't always on, and then when it's on, like, I want to be hella productive. But if it's not on in class, and like, I don't know, I only feel like I'm suddenly in the mode like to learn and to be like really incredibly productive after school, that's wasted if I did in-person classes. Which, like, it is kind of a lousy excuse because obviously that's not going to be something I can do my whole life, most likely. Like, I know, like, influencers probably have the same flexibility, but am I going to be an influencer? No,
I mean,
probably not.
Maybe you'll become, like, an epic Twitch streamer or something. Who knows?
Oh, yeah, let me... No, I mean, I just don't think that's a path that I'm going to go down.
Never say never. I think about how many influencers you know that didn't ever expect that this was going to be something that they'd end up doing.
I mean,
you could be a cooking influencer. You know what I mean?
Oh God.
Yeah, chef it up, Chef Annika.
Never say never, but I don't think in the foreseeable future that it's gonna happen, right?
Yeah. Do you think you're gonna start a podcast?
Oh my God.
I'll just annoy you about that.
If you shut down your podcast, you ship your microphones my way and I'll consider it. But you spent like actual money and you like care about the quality of your podcast. I don't think that I would have the same. I'd be like, okay, so hi.
Well, it has been great having you on this episode, talking about, uni and a little bit about your insight into
a bunch of random stuff,
British things. But we will be hearing from you again. I'll make sure before you go, we get another episode with you that can air in the future. But yeah, I'm excited for you to see more of England. We'll get a train and hop around to other places.
Yeah, I really want to go to Scotland.
Yeah.
Before I leave.
Glasgow or Edinburgh or
literally anywhere. I like Scottish accents a lot.
Scottish accents.
Like a lot.
We just watched Too Hot to Handle.
Oh my
God.
God.
We totally binged it. And so did Seb's accent really just get you going.
No. I did not like Seb. I mean, he wasn't not the worst person by far. Creed like made me want to physically choke him through the screen.
Okay, no.
I could not stand Creed.
They had all the receipts, all the video proof footage of him just lying to all these women. It was really
and then Flavia commented on one of his recent Instagram posts.
So I wonder if they're good. I wonder what the tea is.
Such
gossips.
If she has it in her heart to forgive him, then like God bless her. But Jesus Christ, like he sucks. He's so horrible. I couldn't.
Yeah. But I am going to say goodbye, and we will see you in the future.
Yeah.
And you're going to see more of England, and I'm very, very excited for this trip with you. But thank you guys for listening so much to this episode of the Universe Podcast. You can find it anywhere podcasts can be found, that being Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, all the places. We will be not dropping episodes for the rest of the year, the calendar year, that is. We're taking a little break for the Christmas holiday and writing an essay that I have to get going on. But yeah. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you in 2023. And yeah. Okay, guys. Bye.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.